Good morning. Welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, and Calvin Butenhoff on the board. Our family is back together. Everyone is here. How are you guys doing this morning?
I don't think I've ever heard anyone say Calvin's last name.
Apparently I do. Yeah. Butenhoff, it's one of those things. My family says Butenhoff, to be honest with you, but that being said, I'm pretty sure if you asked a German to pronounce my name, it would be Butenhoff.
Oh, it was.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I guess the blood filled in. So I'm sure Tom probably wasn't. So we've been missing life, right? What is it? And one day, the guy, one of the business guys says, well, let's go to the bars, the country bars. And said, well, the country side, women, Monday night is a night, so they go to the bar. So we go out to the country bars and pick up women. And I said, I'm not going to buy that. So I got but then married women, married guys, and it just goes past. So I told you, Sandy's lived a life of riding. And so I've never understood
Places to go, and we had such a good time, and really enjoyed ourselves, and learned a lot too. I mean, the city is right. We were there right before MLK Day. There's a lot happening with regard to that. That city is so rich in culture and so rich in who they are as people. It's wonderful. I just suggest you go to Atlanta. Nobody showed it for us. Boots. We did not get as much snow as you. So when I say you part of Wisconsin, Milwaukee, we're in Kenosha, and we really. I mean, I was watching it on the ring cam for as long as it worked when it would hit like 0 degrees all that never shut off. But we got, there's probably like an inch and a half of rain, 2 inches, and then, but then the second part is cloudy. So even that goes up to like, so cold. You can't show it. We're just.
Time on my head.
Next week it'll feel hot. It's actually raining a little bit.
Oh,
Just go away. Overall vacation, I give it a solid like 3.5. Yeah, I mean, very good stuff, very good people hanging out with, and everyone, like, we want to send thank you cards to restaurants and to our servers and to everyone. So yeah, if you're in Atlanta, reach out to me on social media. We'll send you a list.
Thank you for calling Matenaer On Air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? All right, thanks for calling, John.
Which is why I never understood on Facebook, YouTube, and coming up next hour, just for anything. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. About the worst you can get. Oh yeah, in the community, in the city especially. Young people. And
I saw this came up on my yesterday. A woman is married to a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Bummer.
She made
Didn't
a
even really
video
wanna
card
go.
of his reactions when he was watching the Cowboys Packers game.
Yeah.
So it varied from he's going go 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 go, covering his face with his hands, leaning back slowly and sighing, calling for the firing of the head coach. And so as he did all of these things, she checked them off on her bingo card, and then when she got bingo, she took a drink. So I started thinking about what would be on your significant other's Packers bingo card.
And are you married to a non-Packer fan? Like what's the setup too? Like are we talking like Packer fans right now?
Right.
Oh, well, just sports. I
Yeah.
just think sports reactions.
I think football, because man, reactions in football are different. Like I've watched my friends get excited like watching basketball, and I know how I act when I'm watching baseball. Football has a different reaction. I mean, like from just putting your head in your hands to, oh, we need to go buy new TV next week because Dad broke ours.
So we will be taking
Yeah.
your texts and your calls
never had
coming up
one.
at 11:30 as we put
I've
together
never
your
I've never
Packers
really
fan
said it.
sports bingo card. What reactions do you watch for when your spouse is watching?
Mm-hmm.
So you
It was start off, of course, the Iowa caucus was last night. NBC polls say over 60% of Iowa caucus voters think the 2020 election was stolen. 60%.
Thank you, because it was. Why aren't you guys getting on board with it? Colin gets it. Right?
It was not stolen. And yeah, work on that big butt. Donald Trump did come out on top. I think that was a surprise. Maybe he brought this focus, but not really anybody else. So you got 51% of the vote, and they called it, you said the press called it
Yeah.
like a 70%.
And they were also using language like landslide and blowout.
Well, I mean, he did very well.
He did very well, but what we were talking about earlier on here with regard to that is turnout.
There's 3.2 million people in Iowa.
Yeah.
The turnout last night was 110,000.
Yeah. Now, if you could say it's a landslide based on who voted, of course you can, yes. But when you take into account the turnout, I don't think it's fair calling it a landslide because of context. You couldn't even bring up all these numbers. Whether it was their tired of it or whether it was bad. So, it was a blowout. Asterisk.
Okay. As you said, though, and I'm sure, again, the weather certainly played a role. There was a 40% increase in turnout. It was 187,000 in 2016, 110,000 last night. Mega, at least according to this is from Morning Joe Scarborough, they're not growing.
No.
So his support.
We haven't.
And you can also say that that means that 1% of Iowans did not vote.
You know, he'd be able to grow the vote, at least with the GOP
But we are
voters,
going, we are going
maybe some
to
independents, if he wasn't so much the idea that if you voted for something, say like a Haley voter, you're a loser. Like,
I've got to show them.
you go to the primary, win the primary, thank you so much, thank you to everyone who voted,
We're going to be
I'm
on.
gonna be the president for everyone. Like, even fake it, he can't do it, so all he does is alienate everyone, saying time is on stage.
Actually, I think last night in his victory speech,
To
he
create.
actually called Ron
You know
DeSantis
how they
Ron.
say they
I think he
created.
called him Ron.
And then shortly after, whoever wrote that was
COVID
fired,
and also pointed.
because it's Ron's sanctimonious.
It seems to be a little bit of a different tone that maybe he is recognizing that.
No, I think,
Why this isn't
It's,
working.
because the thing is we say this every time he reads correctly. Every time he reads correctly or he has a professional tone, oh, could this be the
It's
chance?
tonight's night shift,
It
but your
never
worst
is.
night
It's
time
gonna
is
go off to
so
some
you
other
can get to sleep and wake up ready to go. How good.
and then also and then it's the same next thing, you know, he's gonna make fun of him. He'll make fun of him. Very smart.
holding on, climbing the walls that break us to dawn,
Iowa caucus,
fearing the future.
love corn, love man Slipknot, sure. But the Iowa caucuses mean almost nothing. So people are going to be like, well, he destroyed the Iowa caucus. Yeah, great. You know who else does? Ted Cruz,
Yes.
Rick Santorum, Mike Huckabee, Bob Dole, Gerald
So it
Ford.
was Wisconsin.
They all won the Iowa caucus and then did not go on to be president.
Correct, and that's the same thing we said. Pete Buttigieg, John Kerry, Al Gore, Tom Harkin. Kids, you know who Tom Harkin is? Of course you don't. So yes, it's celebratory,
You know how
it's
they
fun,
say it,
whatever. It's the first one. But
But
let's move on to the. Okay, New Hampshire
Okay, so it's right around the corner.
right around the corner, and then we'll start picking up steam. But to me, him winning Iowa is about as surprising as me going home today and finishing left.
Yes.
Jason Hutchinson, who remarkably has still been
He had
in the race, and Vivek Ramaswamy, who came in fourth and fifth respectively. They are
Yeah, something like that. They wanted to come on and talk about it. One guy started in
Is this?
France.
I'm stunned. Jason
And
was
so
still in the race.
they're
We haven't heard anything.
I mean, I believe his name
The challenge
is
is
Swedish for who?
whether or not
What?
that should be
When?
done without
It's a joke.
legislature being
Sorry.
involved.
Nobody.
So
All right.
they were talking about
We got a comment on the live stream from Gloria saying, while the Trump derangement syndrome continues with you people, what a bunch of losers. LOL.
Say that we can have the conversation.
Thanks,
Now you're
Larry.
bringing in
Scientists.
Okay.
from France.
I don't think she was calling us
There's another
losers.
scientist here, and we're
I hope not.
speaking in terms of
Oh
this
man, am I losing?
absolute. But there's
844
gotta be people on the
967
other side of this
2789
debate.
844 967 2789. If you want to call in and or text or leave a comment on the live stream, like Gloria.
Absolutely the way it is.
Oh yeah, just got it. She was making fun of us. All right.
Facebook, YouTube, and or Twitter. Stay close. We'll be right
I
back.
don't wanna
This is Matenaer On Air, coming to you across the
give
Civic
somebody,
Media.
give somebody support and talk to sage. Yeah, okay. That's you know, this is strange.
This is the Shaw, WAUK.
You
have unfiled taxes or
I'm afraid.
to the IRS. This is important.
Yes, sir.
The IRS just rolled
You know,
out a
I'm
new
gonna
program
get
to help struggling
I'm gonna
taxpayers
get
easily resolve their
one,
tax problems. It's called
You want to go? Lucky you.
No one knows a program like this.
Yeah, put shoulder to it.
America's most trusted tax
Oh, yeah.
resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion.
I am this week. I
Yes, you know, they say they actually put it into a speech. Oh, yeah.
Details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com. You are listening to The Shaw, WAUK.
Good morning. Welcome to Matenaer On Air. Matenaer, Greg Bach, Helen Butenhoff on the board. Coming to you from our studio in beautiful downtown Waukesha. Don't forget to download the app.
Both
Civic Media
shows
app.
on,
Wherever you go. Also listen to our
on,
podcasts. And want to give a shout out to everybody listening in Green Bay
no,
this
no,
morning
no,
on
they both
WG.
shows
You know,
on,
you didn't realize
the stage.
I mean, yeah, why not? I mean, at this point, well, for one thing, the field is even further. Like now it's her, Ron, and Don. That's it. I mean, there's nobody else.
Right.
And at this point, there's no point in the two of them, Ron and Nikki,
Without Trump there.
without
If he's the front runner.
Yeah, and so therefore, I mean, is this a way of bringing Don out of the shadows? He won't. He doesn't have to. He doesn't need to campaign in that form. He doesn't have to campaign in any way that he doesn't want to, as long as he keeps winning the way he does. So, of course, she'll call for this, and he'll be like, "No, I got other things to do. You're a loser, and I don't like you."
He is back in court this morning, by the way.
Oh, that's right. He also did break a bunch of laws, allegedly.
Allegedly, 91 felony counts, but who's counting? Yeah, he is in courts for another portion of the E. Jean Carroll trial. Again, regarding damages, I believe. So, and then it's off to New Hampshire,
where he'll probably win that one as well.
It'll be interesting because from everything that I've been reading, New Hampshire is not nearly as evangelical.
No, I don't think so.
There's not such a large evangelical population in New Hampshire, and that certainly seems to be, at least in Iowa, that was fueling his victory.
I could see Nikki Haley overcoming Ron DeSantis there for a second easily, because I don't know. I feel like Nikki has done a better job of proposing herself as the level-headed GOP candidate. But I don't think that she has enough juice to outmaneuver Donald Trump. No, I just don't. It might be close. It could be closer than it was in Iowa. But I think at the end of the day, I think Ronald Trump. Oh God, those two mixed into one human. Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump takes New Hampshire. I just think he does.
Well, we'll find out before too long. If you want to check in with us, 844-967-2789, 844-967
party. Wait, no, 9-6 party.
9-6 party. That's what it is.
I'm back. I'm back.
Off. I'm thrown off now.
I'm back. We're getting the mix back together here. It's fantastic.
The band is back.
The band is back.
Cindy from Appleton is joining us on the line. Good morning, Cindy. What did you want to say?
Well, I am so disturbed by this. How has our country become so far off the mark that they want a criminal in charge of our country, representing all the rest of us? Someone please explain this to me.
But Cindy, they don't believe that he's a criminal. And actually, I think after he was indicted the first time, his support in Iowa went up.
Mm-hmm.
And as we said at the very beginning of the segment, 60% of people in Iowa who voted think the 2020 election was stolen. Calvin, do you have this clip from this? There's a clip from a Trump voter who was interviewed yesterday in very, very chilly Iowa. And I don't believe that she is probably the best example. But Cindy, take a listen to this. This is a Trump voter in Iowa on her take on the presidential race. Go ahead, Calvin.
Joe Biden has been dead since 2019. James Woods, the actor, is playing Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe Poopy Pants. But the president is trying to get us back down with our economy because...
So he is the president?
Yes, he never conceded. He is very much the president of the republic. Biden has been doing all his White House pictures out there in California at Black Rock Studio with the fake green screen.
But he's dead.
James Woods.
And so...
He doesn't even live in the White House.
He lives
Nobody
in
lives in White House.
Oh, so he's in California?
Yeah.
But he's dead.
Joe Biden.
We already said he's dead.
See, and so Cindy, like that's the one of the I get where you're coming from. And when we had the Rear Admiral on, Admiral Smith, he made it very, and it's something we've talked about before, but he made it very clear as well. The people that you're talking about cannot be negotiated with. The only way they think differently, the only way they come around to, and I'm not even saying voting the way I'm voting. I'm just saying they believe that Joe Biden won the election, that Joe Biden apparently is alive and not being played by James Woods. They have to come into it on their own. Us trying to understand why they think they do is really difficult because they're in a place that I think none of us can get to. It would take, this woman honestly sounds like she needs some attention.
And we're laughing about it, but I do have some concerns about her. But I know, Cindy. Thank you so much for calling. Really appreciate it. And I always appreciate you listening. 844-967-2789. 844-96.
Party.
There we go.
We're
We have
back.
the news coming up in just a little bit. Also, next hour at this time at 11:33, we're going to start taking your calls. If you had to put together your spouse's Packers bingo reaction card, what would be on the squares?
Keep it FCC compliant.
Yeah, sans profanities, please. That would make a much easier thing to talk about. But that's coming up at 11:33. 11:06, Mike Ruzicka from the Greater Milwaukee Association of Realtors will be here to talk some numbers, what's going on with the housing market, and what that will mean for you in case you're looking to buy or looking to sell.
Neither.
Not at this time. I know you're all in your house. All right. Don't go away. News coming up next. We'll be right back. You're listening to Matenaer On Air, coming to you across the Civic Media Radio Network.
I'm just nothing your bedpost, but so does a line in a song. Drop a heart and break a name. We're saving and saving for the wrong team. We're going down, around, and sugar will going down swinging. I'll be your number one with a bullet. A loaded gun complex, cocky and bullet. We're going down, around, and sugar will going down swinging. I'll be your number one with a bullet. A loaded gun complex, cocky and bullet. Around, and sugar will going down swinging. I'll be your number one with a bullet. A loaded gun complex, cocky and bullet. We're going down, around, and sugar will going down swinging. I'll be your number one with a bullet. A loaded gun complex, cocky and bullet. We're going down, we're going down, loaded gun complex, cocky and bullet. We're going down.
Waukesha, home of Les Paul, our awesome farmers market, and The Shaw, 540 AM and 101.1 FM, WAUK.
Civic Media News, I'm Terry Bell. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. Marshfield clinic workers across Wisconsin are being furloughed. 3% of the nearly 12,000 people who work for the healthcare system have to take unpaid time off. The furloughs come after a round of budget cuts in November and after talks about a merger with Essentia Health fell through last week. Wisconsin is one of many states without a defined formula for deciding alimony payments in divorce court.
And they go to a judge and they say, okay, you decide what should the alimony amount be. And if that's you going in, you have no idea what to expect.
That's Shay Dreffs. She's with Custody Exchange. That's a firm that helps families navigate divorce. Her company's research recommends Wisconsin put the formula into law. I'm Terry Bell, and this is Civic Media News. Now, here's what you need to know closer to home.
For WAUK News, I'm Stuart J. Waddles. The power is back on for almost everyone. We Energies has outages at the moment in the hundreds, after peak outages at almost 100,000. The National Weather Service has the wind chill advisory running through tomorrow morning at 9. The advisory warns of wind chills as low as 35 below. Warming centers are open in many area churches, schools, and community centers. Home sales in southeastern Wisconsin saw a nearly 20% decline compared to this time last year. The Greater Milwaukee Association of Realtors says the drop is primarily due to a shortage of inventory resulting from low new construction and new listings. The realtors are concerned about the impact on home ownership and the potential for a significant increase in rental demand due to the lack of new construction and listings. And that's what you need to know. I'm Stuart J. Waddles, WAUK News.
There are 1,000 ways to say it.
Nope. Knock it off. Shut it down. Dream on. No dice. Give it a rest. Not a chance.
Or just
All text. You focus on the road.
as a passenger, you have the power to prevent an accident. There are 1,000 ways to stop a distracted driver. Choose one.
A message from CTIA.
Marquette gets a W. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. After back-to-back losses, the Marquette Golden Eagles beat Villanova. Final score 87-74. Head coach Shaka Smart says easier said than done.
I mean, Villanova's got grown men. They got like 8 seniors, toughness, physicality. There's nobody on their team where you can hide a guy in a matchup.
Marquette heads to St. John's on Saturday. Big Ten, number 15th ranked Wisconsin takes on Penn State on the road. NBA, it's the Bucks in Cleveland tomorrow night to kick off a 3-game road trip. NFL, the Packers face the 49ers Saturday night at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. Kickoff at 7:15. I asked right guard John Runyon about the growth of quarterback Jordan Love.
Unbelievable, just how much he's grown. I think we've won 8 of the last 11 games, and he's really just starting to flourish, feels comfortable. This is his offense, his team, and he's going to keep going, keep pushing, and on to San Francisco now.
That's Packers right guard John Runyon. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlot. The brutal cold continues to blast us with blustery winds whipping up to 25 miles per hour, dragging our wind chill values to near negative 25. As highs today struggle to get above zero, we do get to see more sunshine today. Just stay warm. A wind chill advisory remains in effect until tomorrow morning. It's 9 below zero at our studios.
It's fully leaded education talk. Hard facts with a humorous twist. Check out Busted Pencils, Tuesdays at 7 on The Shaw, 540 AM and 101.1 FM WAUK, and on the Civic Media app.
It's easy to listen to your favorite local radio station anytime. Download the Civic Media app from the Apple or Google Play Store, then listen live or whenever you want from anywhere for free.
Whether you're heading down Les Paul Parkway or fighting.
Good morning. Welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Calvin Butenhoff on the board, coming to you live from our studio in downtown Waukesha. Don't forget to download the Civic Media app. You can listen to all of the stations all across the network, and you can also call and text directly from the app if you like. Otherwise, you can give us a jingle at 844-967-2789, 844-96.
Party.
Or leave a comment on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and or Twitter. Coming up in about, 20 minutes or so. Emmys were last night. There were a couple Wisconsin victories, which was nice to see.
Yeah, there was.
There was. Also, there was a big snub of one of my favorite programs. I'm very hurt.
I know you are.
And we'll take your reactions to last night's Emmys. It was really hard to find where to watch them.
Yeah, I didn't even, honestly, I didn't
know that they were. I know.
But
they got pushed back because of the writer's strike.
And also one of the reasons why I wasn't watching it is Wisconsin connected because of who was on the show. The lady from Echo.
Oh.
Yeah, we watched Echo last night.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So,
very cool. How is it?
It's very fun. It's very set apart from, I think, the Marvel, like the MCU. It's part of the MCU. But you actually don't really have to know a ton about it to watch that show.
Luke and I talked about it while you were gone. He's very excited about that.
Yeah, it's 5 episodes. You can honestly sit down and watch it in an evening and knock it out. It's fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Check it out. All right. We've been talking about this off and on, and it certainly is an issue that is not going away. And it doesn't seem to be like there's much incentive to make it go away. And we're talking about the issue along the southern border. And certainly this is not good, what's happening, and it has been not good for a long time.
Yeah.
And now there are reports that the relatively brand new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, is under fire after saying House Republicans can't support a border solution until either Donald Trump or another Republican is back in the White House. So essentially saying, yeah, we're just going to leave this alone. We're not going to do anything until there's another Republican administration. So do they really care about what's happening along the border?
This is definitely not making me believe they do. This is going, even though it wasn't a crisis, this reminds me of when Justice Scalia died and the Republicans in charge of the Senate said, no, we're not going to listen. We're not going to take anyone on. We're not going to fill this seat. It will be empty until after. It's too close. It's too close to the election. It's 9 full months away, people. It's too close. That it's the thing that they can just blatantly say this out loud now. We won't do it until, and hold the resources, the people, the courts involved hostages until they get their way. And that's what it is.
Essentially,
yes. They're going to take their ball and go home. They're going to get their way.
Well, and let's not forget also that when McConnell held that seat open for all of those months because it was too close to the election.
Yeah.
And then when the Republicans were back in office 3 weeks before the election, they approved Amy Coney Barrett and put her on the bench.
Yep. After Justice Bader Ginsburg. Yeah, it's hypocrisy of the highest order. You can't convince me otherwise. They are nothing but insolent babies, and they always just cry until they get their way. And they use things like democracy and religion to push their agenda. And there are a subsect of people who buy it and are fine with it. But I'll tell you this much, if Joe Biden or any other Democrat, Barack Obama, I don't care, pick a Democrat from this or past century. If they got on the pulpit and said, we are not going to do this until we get our way. We're not going to do this until we have our people in place. And so you can just sit there and wait. They would be burned at the stake. They'd be burned in effigy, and they would never get away with it. But for some reason, the GOP, every single time, because they're brazen about this, they don't care. They can say it. They're like, yeah, we're going to wait.
What are you going to do about it?
Vote you out.
It's interesting also, and again, the Iowa caucus was last night, and the former president won with 50% of the vote, that immigration was the number one issue for Iowa voters. Over the economy, over everything.
Because you know why? Those caravans coming to Des Moines. Oh, my gosh.
But
get out the way.
Iowa's agriculture industry, I would imagine, depends on immigrants as much as Wisconsin's agricultural industry needs immigrants.
I'm going to let you in a little secret. Across the country, it does. And the fact that these individuals who may be voting for Donald Trump have a problem with this is beyond me, and may employ these individuals is beyond me. But once again, it's that idea of you can't even fathom the idea of this man not being your president, that you're going to be so hypocritical and honestly come off looking so stupid.
Not within their group.
No, but
not within their group.
But fine. You know what then? Let the government come in and take every single undocumented worker out of this country, put them back from whence they came. I'd like to see how quickly their business folds, because they won't be able to afford to pay what they're paying these individuals, which also, by the way, is disgusting, because they know they have advantage of them.
Well, absolutely. And we've talked about this before as well. The fact that if you are an illegal immigrant and you are working on someone's farm, you are not going to go to the authorities if something goes wrong.
Yeah.
Why would you out yourself like that?
No. And I don't know. It's the idea too is like the people who are employing them are also not going to go to the police, or they have just as much at stake too. So everybody on that farm, if you are employing undocumented workers, both the workers themselves and the employer have they have everything at stake for losing. So they don't do anything at all. And it just turns into this really horrible environment. So I don't know. I don't understand it. Like I said to Cindy, trying to understand it will only make you go crazy. Like there's no moral compass. There's no common denominator or common sense
It's just absolute bonkers banana town.
It's just disappointing. I think everyone agrees something needs to be done about our broken immigration system, which has been broken for decades. And both parties have been responsible to an extent for kicking the can down the road, not seriously attempting to fix things.
Yeah.
We need more, as we've talked about before, we need more courts.
Yeah.
We need more people to help process these people.
Yeah.
And speed this process along. Should it take 7 years?
Nope. And you're right. And that absolutely it's true is we must hold accountable those individuals in the other party who aren't doing as much. They like to talk about it, like they like to talk about Social Security and all those other hot button issues.
Well, let's hear some solutions.
But
then.
at the end of the day, they're not coming up with viable solutions. And yeah, the GOP saying, well, we're not going to do anything until Donald Trump or until we have a majority or blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's terrible. But these individuals are being used as political puppets.
Absolutely.
And it's nothing new. I mean, the small business owners are the backbone of this country. I don't believe you. I'm a small business owner. I don't believe you believe that. I don't believe anything they say in those, because those are stump speeches. And then when they get off that stump, they go back into their bus or onto their plane, they go back to Washington. They're taking care of
business as usual.
Exactly.
We're talking about Speaker Mike Johnson, relatively new Speaker Mike Johnson, essentially saying in a Sunday evening call with House Republicans, he will not support any solutions about the border until either Donald Trump or another Republican is back in the White House. So he has rejected this Senate border deal that was put together by Republican Senator from Oklahoma, James Lankford, with the support of Senate GOP Minority Leader Mitch McConnell and Senate Democratic Majority Leader Chuck Schumer.
Yeah. At least they're opening the idea that there could be a different GOP president.
Yeah, sure.
Mike Johnson,
okay,
open-minded.
Yes, very, very open-minded. H.R. 2 is the House's latest legislation, which reportedly has no chance of even passing in the Senate. It's also opposed by immigration advocates, the Biden White House, Senate Democrats, some Senate Republicans, and other groups, including Catholic bishops.
I just always think that's so funny when Republicans. It reminds me of when, Paul Ryan would try to pass his budget, and every year it would tank and flame out, and even the Republicans were like, yeah, this is dumb. I love it when they do that, when the Republicans try to pass some piece of legislation and other Republicans are like, this is dumb. We're not doing this. Put it away. Just put it away. Put it in a drawer. Let it rot. I'm fiery today.
I feel that.
I'm on my third cup of coffee, and someone on the live stream's making fun of me right now.
That's fine. 844-967-2789, 844-96
Party.
Or you can leave a comment if you like on the live stream, and you can say whatever you want. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, we're grown-ups.
Yeah. It makes me giggle.
Coming up, the Emmys were last night. The Emmy Awards, really, really difficult even finding a place to watch them. I tried on YouTube, and every stream I found would go for about a minute, and then a big advertisement would pop up right in the middle of the screen, essentially trying to force me to click on this to subscribe to something so I could watch the Emmy Awards.
So they weren't on network television?
I couldn't find them. Maybe I blew it, but I looked all over the place and I could not find them on network television.
Usually they're like on ABC or something. If I'm just gonna look it up here, because like I said, I did not watch them. I didn't even know they were on.
Well, again, they were supposed to air in September, but with the writers and the actors strike, that all got pushed back. But overall, I thought the show was very entertaining from what I could tell with the big block in the middle of my screen. They had some wonderful, wonderful old TV stars.
Yeah.
Including Carol Burnett.
I love Carol Burnett. Carol Burnett is part of that group. The Mel Brooks, Carol Burnett, Norman Lear, and Carl Reiner were part of it as well.
Yes.
Those will be hard days when they're gone. And, I think Carol Burnett's 90 something now.
Is she that old?
I think because I know that Mel Brooks is 96, I believe. But, yeah, Mel Brooks is 97. And
Carol Burnett is
90.
She's 90.
She's 90. Boy, she looks darn good.
She looks great.
For being 90 years old.
Yeah, I mean, those are individuals I grew up watching their rerun on television, like watching the Carol Burnett show as a kid. They'd rerun those, and they were hysterical.
Yeah.
And so when you see her on TV, it's always joyous.
A golden moment.
And people rise to their feet because they're so excited to see her.
844-967-2789. Stephen from Green Bay. Good morning, Stephen. Thanks for joining us. We got just a couple of minutes left. What did you want to say?
Well, first I want to say I hope you and Greg Bach are staying nice and warm. It is. Let me tell you, I've never slept in a deep freeze before, but I have to be out in this stuff, and it is cold.
Oh yeah,
it's really cold. And that's a Wisconsinite saying that.
Yeah, it's brutal. It
yeah,
really is.
We're trying. Thanks, buddy.
So this is what I gotta say. I looked it up. The Emmy Awards were actually aired on Fox. So if you guys live in the Milwaukee TV market, that'd be channel 6 for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not watch it either, because I'm a football nerd and I had to watch the football games that were on last night. But I will be going and watching the replay of it, because I did hear some good things came out of it last night.
Yeah.
So I will be trying to take a look myself.
Well, stay warm out there, Stephen. Really appreciate it. And that's a good reminder for everyone else. It seriously is very, very dangerous. You want to wear layers and cover up and don't leave your skin exposed for too long, because you can get frostbite in just a couple of minutes, and you don't want that.
Yeah, it's no good. No good. Thank you. And yes, Stephen, we are trying to stay warm right now, even though parts of the building are
freezing,
warmer than others. So
stay close. Emmy Talk. When we come back, you're listening to Matenaer On Air. We're coming to you across the Civic Media Radio Network.
Nothing ever seems to stay with me. Nothing ever satisfies. You don't have to hold me, babe. I'm running out of fear. Let's not let the night catch you staggering around down here.
The Shaw, WAUK.
Robert Hack Diamonds pays cash for your unwanted gold, silver, and even diamonds. That's right. Robert Hack Diamonds wants to make you an offer on your gold, silver, and diamonds. The process is very simple. No appointment needed. Just come on in, sit down in a nice, relaxed atmosphere, and the staff of Robert Hack Diamonds will evaluate your unwanted gold, silver, and diamonds and make you an offer on the spot. Then you can decide if you want a deal or no deal. Robert Hack Diamonds can also convert your old jewelry into something new or trade in your outdated pieces for something new and exciting. Many people inherit jewelry that might not be your taste, but you are sentimental. Why not have Robert Hack Diamonds take the golden gems and create something for you? So many options at Robert Hack Diamonds. Again, Robert Hack Diamonds pays cash for your unwanted gold, silver, and diamonds. See them in Brookfield, just east of Moreland on Greenland Avenue, or 76 in Layton, right on the corner in Greenfield. RobertHackDiamonds.com.
This
Good morning. Welcome to Matenaer On Air. Thank you so very much for joining us. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach with Calvin Butenhoff on the board, coming to you live from our studio in downtown Waukesha. Hope you're staying warm. Just talked to Stephen in Green Bay. It is really deadly cold out there.
Absolutely.
They're actually investigating 3 deaths in Milwaukee County.
My goodness.
That they believe were related to hypothermia. I think one man tragically was living out of his car. So stay warm. Don't stay out there for too long, and make sure you protect yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, that music was the theme from Succession, the highly, highly lauded and popular HBO shows. Walked away with just a bunch of awards last night.
I think they took away for drama. It was best actor, best actress, and supporting.
Yeah, they got best drama series for Succession.
Yeah.
Best actor, Kieran Culkin. Best actress, Sarah Snook. And supporting actor, Matthew McFadden, who is British.
Yes.
I did not realize he was British.
Oh, yes, he is indeed, baby. He's very British. Kieran Culkin's acceptance speech is hilarious.
Is it?
Because he calls out Pedro Pascal, and then Pedro Pascal's whatever. I don't know if he gave a speech, if he won, or if he was presenting. His clapback at Kieran Culkin was hilarious. It's just wonderful. Just the two of them together. It was very funny. Very, very funny.
I thought, again, from what I saw, I thought it was really well done. It moved along really quickly.
Mhm.
The comedian who hosted
Anthony Anderson.
I am not familiar with. I had never seen him perform before.
Have you never watched Blackish?
No.
It is a fantastic comedy series. They just wrapped up, I think, last year, and it spawned 3 spinoffs.
Wow.
Yeah. He is hilarious.
And he really kept it moving along.
Oh, yeah.
And what I liked too was, rather than have the music play people off, he had his mother in the audience. He had his mother in the audience to stand up and cut people off with this clock.
He's legend.
It was so funny.
His and his mother's relationship, their love, their friendship, and their back and forth is legendary. Like, they're so funny. He loves her so much.
That's cool.
She used to hand out like autographed pictures of him to people. Like, I'm his mother, and here you go. Yeah.
Other winners last night at the Emmy Awards: supporting actress in a drama series, Jennifer Coolidge from The White Lotus.
People can see you on the live stream, Jane.
Did you see that eye roll?
Ugh. It's fine. Not your jam. She's not your jam.
She's not my jam. I just think that she plays herself in every character. She's the spacey, confused, where am I kind of thing. And I think that's just her.
Okay. I don't think so. I don't think you can become that successful and being spacey. And
Did you see her acceptance speech?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Trust me.
Okay. I mean, in that moment, Jane, if you were given such an award, do you think you wouldn't have a moment? You could, like, it's impossible to be like tripping over her words. Or
Well,
something?
no, I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I just think the whole, I don't know.
Okay.
She's not my jam.
She's not your jam.
She's not my jam. Limited series, Beef. I've never seen it.
Netflix show based on road rage.
Oh, Stephen Yun, winner in an actor for Beef. Ali Wong.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Walter Hauser for Blackbird. And Niecy Nash, that's from Dahmer Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. Niecy had a great acceptance speech last night. Let's take a listen to this.
Thank you to the Most High for this divine moment. Thank you, Ryan Murphy, for seeing me. Evan Peters, I love you. Netflix, every single person who voted for me, thank you. And my better half who picked me up when I was gutted from this work, thank you. And you know who I want to thank? I want to thank me for believing in me and doing what they said I could not do. And I want to say to myself in front of all you beautiful people, go on, girl, with your bad self.
Yes.
You did that. Finally, I accept this award on behalf of every Black and brown woman who has gone unheard yet over-policed, like Glenda Cleveland, like Sandra Bland, like Breonna Taylor. As an artist, my job is to speak truth to power, and baby, I'm gonna do it to the day I die.
That's Niecy.
Mama, I won.
Niecy Nash at last night's Emmy Awards after she won for supporting actress for Dahmer Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. On the comedy side, I'm bereft.
You're inconsolable.
I am. Ted Lasso didn't get bupkis.
You tried to believe.
I did believe.
You did believe.
I did believe.
I mean,
it makes me. And I watched The Bear. The Bear is this show about a restaurant in Chicago.
Yeah.
They're not the same thing. I don't see The Bear as a comedy.
But it's not a straight drama either.
It's more of a drama than Ted Lasso.
Not enough for the Emmys, though.
I don't think they should be in the same category. I have all kinds of issues apparently with the Emmys this year.
I mean, I think you wouldn't have any issues if Jennifer Coolidge hadn't won and Ted Lasso would have won everything. But Ted Lasso has also, I think, won now 30 Emmys between the 2 seasons.
I suppose.
First 2 seasons. So they got their flowers.
They did get their flowers.
Yeah.
Best actor in a comedy series, Jeremy Allen White from The Bear. Actress in a comedy series, Quinta Brunson, Abbott Elementary, which is pretty cool.
Show.
She won last year for writing.
Oh, yeah.
And then this year she won for acting. Another actor from The Bear, Ebon Musbakrak, and another actress, Ayo Etta Beery, had a wonderful speech as well. She had a great little acceptance speech.
Yeah. We were talking about before the show, Niecy Nash Betts' acceptance speech is great. When Cheryl Ralph won for Abbott Elementary, which I think was last year or maybe the year before, her speech was great too, because she was given the speech and then she looked at the camera. She goes, "You come here." And they pulled the camera and she started talking to camera.
Oh, really?
I'm like, I feel inspired to do anything now because Cheryl Lee Ralph believes in me.
Go get him.
Go on with yourself.
Go on with your bad self. Other winners last night: Best Reality Competition Program, RuPaul's Drag Race.
Thank God.
Talk Series, The Daily Show with Trevor Noah. Well done.
Yep.
And Best Scripted Variety Series last week tonight with the one and only John Oliver.
They
and
never lose that category.
because that show is so good.
I know.
And Trevor Noah was really wonderful with giving a shout out to Jon Stewart as well, who's the one who got him onto that program. And
he gave a shout out to John Oliver for not being in the category.
yeah,
too.
exactly. See, I knew we could beat him if you weren't in our category. When we return, we have news coming up next, and then we're going to talk real estate. Mike Ruzicki, the president of the Greater Milwaukee Association of Realtors, will be here. Stay close. You're listening to Matenaer On Air. We're coming to you across the Civic Media Radio Network.
Broadcasting to Waukesha at 101.1 FM. Broadcasting to Southeast Wisconsin at 540 AM. This is The Shaw, WAUK. Enjoying this local program? Find the complete Civic Media lineup at civicmedia.us or the Civic Media app.
I got serious about staying fit just a couple of years ago. Now 5Ks, yoga, and smart nutrition are all part of my weekly routine. Part of my eating right plan? Country Hearth Breads. Natural breads with the whole grains and natural ingredients my body needs to perform at its best. Just a slice of toasted multigrain with peanut butter before a workout, and I'm ready to roll. Country Hearth is the easy choice because it's good for me and great tasting too. Country Hearth Breads, baking our best for you.
You're listening to The Shaw, WAUK 540 AM Jackson, W266DR Waukesha, and always streaming on the Civic Media app.
CBS News brief. New York's Gilgo Beach murder suspect now faces an additional charge in connection with a fourth death linked to the case. DA Raymond Tierney.
This indictment marks a change in the investigation. The grand jury investigation of the so-called Gilgo 4 is over. It has been concluded.
Murders dating back more than a decade. Post-mortem in Iowa after former President Trump's blowout win in the Republican caucuses.
Is the party ready to move on from Trump? No. That's what the Trump campaign will say. And they will also say a historic victory here means near inevitability.
That's CBS's Major Garrett. New Hampshire's primary is next. Asa Hutchinson dropped out of the race today. January's big chill still a thing. Forecaster Craig Allen.
Current temperatures this morning across the northern plains and northern Rockies are around minus 20, with wind chills that are running still around minus 30 to around minus 40.
CBS News Brief. I'm Steve Kathan.
Civic Media News. I'm Terry Bell. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. The Wisconsin State Senate is in session today. The upper house is taking up a couple of bills aimed at child pornography. One would outlaw AI-generated images, and another would ban lifelike child sex dolls. The keynote speaker at this year's State of Wisconsin Martin Luther King Day celebration says he wants the promise of justice one day to happen today.
More and more, I feel that the people of ill will have used much more effectively than have the people of goodwill. We will have to repent in this generation, not merely for the hateful words and the actions of the bad people, but the appalling silence of the good people.
The Reverend Marcus Allen is a Baptist minister in Madison. I'm Terry Bell, Civic Media News. Here's what you need to know closer to home.
For WAUK News, I'm Stuart J. Waddles. There are some school closures today, but not widespread. Milwaukee Public Schools made the call to cancel with school in session for kids in the Waukesha District, plus Racine and Kenosha Unifieds. If you aren't sure about other things that might be closed today, you should call ahead. The advisory warns of wind chills as low as 35 below, which could cause frostbite on exposed skin in as little as 30 minutes. There's a search in Cudahy for a missing 16-year-old. Brandon Johnson Jr. has been reported missing, with his family last seeing him yesterday afternoon. Cudahy police have classified him as critically missing. According to his family, he turned off his phone. Images of Johnson have been shared online, and anyone with information about his location is urged to come forward. And that's what you need to know. I'm Stuart J. Waddles, WAUK News.
Hey, son, how are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it. Navigating without a compass, eyes waiting, started to wonder. Metamorphosis, the loss of who you thought you was.
When your kid can't find the language, help them find the lyrics. Listen to the Sound It Out album and get tips and tools to start a conversation at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
The Packers get ready for the 49ers. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Green Bay taking on the 49ers Saturday night in the divisional playoffs at Levi's Stadium. But concerned outside linebacker Kingsley J.J. Enagbare suffered a torn ACL in his right knee late in the fourth quarter in Dallas. Matt LaFleur says it's a huge loss.
I'll tell you what, man, I can't say enough great things about him. And I just love his play style.
College basketball, the Marquette Golden Eagles got a much-needed win over Villanova, 87-74. Before the game, former Marquette and NBA star Dwayne Wade spoke to the team and then donated $3 million to improve the basketball facility and fund scholarships and reading programs.
If you've ever had a conversation with a parent that kid has been impacted by something you've done, it's no greater feeling. My sister and I, my family and I have always been about understanding that even in the moments in life where we haven't had a lot, we've still been blessed enough to have something.
That's Dwayne Wade with sports. I'm Mike Clemens.
I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlot. The brutal cold continues to blast us with blustery winds whipping up to 25 miles per hour, dragging our wind chill values to near negative 25. As highs today struggle to get above zero, we do get to see more sunshine today. Just stay warm. A wind chill advisory remains in effect until tomorrow morning. Right now, it's 7 below.
Robert Hack Diamond salutes the work of Martin Luther King Jr. as we celebrate his accomplishments in civil rights. His leadership in fighting injustice through peaceful protest, the March on Washington, the Montgomery bus boycott, the Civil Rights and Voting Rights Acts, and more. He led the way for millions to work towards achieving equality. This week, join Robert Hack Diamonds in recognizing Dr. King's accomplishments and contributions with Civic Media.
This is your local Civic Media radio station. Want to hear even more? Anytime? Find all of it at civicmedia.us. Your home for the...
Good morning. Welcome to Matenaer On Air. Thank you so very much for joining us. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Calvin Butenhoff on the board, all coming to you live from our studio in downtown Waukesha. You can always call or text at 844-967-2789 if you want to join the show or leave a comment on the live stream if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Very excited to have our next guest joining us. He is the president of the Greater Milwaukee Association of Realtors, Mike Ruzicka. Good morning, Mike. How are you? Thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, Jane. Good. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, we're going to talk some numbers, especially for people who are thinking about selling their house or buying a house. What is the state in the Milwaukee market right now, Mike? How are things going?
It was definitely slow last year. Sales for the year were down 18% from 2022. And, it really is indicative of what's going on in the market. We just don't have enough houses to sell. And anybody, especially millennials or younger people looking for a first-time home, anybody looking for a home in that category, they know what I'm talking about, because there just are not enough starter homes being listed or built to satisfy the demand. It's really a tight market right now.
And I guess it blows my mind too, Mike. And granted, I'm of an age where my first house was $88,000, but it blows my mind that a starter house now is in the 250s. That's just shocking.
Yeah, actually, I was shocked when I looked at the stats to find out that the average sale price for the 4-county area and for the year topped $400,000 for the first time. It was
average.
Oh my! Yeah, and it topped 300,000 just 4 years ago in 2019. So it's the appreciation has gone up, and it's almost exclusively because there are not enough other houses available. It's all strictly supply demand. There just is not enough supply. And what's interesting is some people say, well, okay, we need to build more affordable housing, and which is a great idea, and we definitely need it. But to be honest with you, if we build anything, it would be helpful, because a $1 million house will open up a $500,000 house, which will open up a $200,000 house. So it's that trickle down that we need. There just is not enough construction going on. So I would really strongly encourage anybody interested in building to consider that, because it's a good option.
Sounds like the only version of where trickle down works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and do we know, is it the interest rates, Mike? Is it still a problem with getting building materials? What is the hesitation on the part of builders, do you think?
On the part of builders, there are several items. Labor has been an issue for like 25 years. Materials costs certainly are high. Available land, there aren't many 100 lot subdivisions going up right now. They're all usually 30 to 50. They're still on the smaller side. Developers are still a little bit skittish. They don't want to extend themselves too far out and be exposed if something happens again. Although I've been telling our members since the decade started that this decade is going to be a good one for real estate, just because there's strong demand among millennials and Gen Z are the new home buyers, and that's where the supply the demand that we need to meet with supply exists the most. But like I said, if we can create anything, but land costs, labor costs, those are the main parts of significant reasons why. But on the other hand, existing homes are also expensive. We just topped $400,000 for the average cost. So there's a young couple maybe has 1 or 2 kids, wants to buy their first home, or a young couple that just got married wants to buy a home. They're going to be hard pressed to find something they can afford without going over that magic 30% of your income point, where you really don't want to overextend yourself, at least for very long, because then it affects other parts of your life. I remember back in the early 90s when the last time we really had kind of a strong construction boom and demand side boom. There were a lot of buyers who were buying. They were young couples, and they call them dinks, double income, no kids.
Right.
And they were buying houses, but their living rooms were empty because they spent so much money on the house. They didn't have any extra revenue or money to pay for the other items in the house.
Yeah.
So,
go on.
I think there's a similar situation going on now, where people, double income couples, are putting all their resources into getting a house. Which, to be honest with you, when you look at the math, it's okay. Is it better to spend $20,000 on a mortgage versus a landlord? You'll get that $20,000 back down the road, but it is difficult to manage on a cash flow basis on an annual basis.
Honestly, Mike, my wife and I we both bought our first homes ever in 2022 in Kenosha, because in Kenosha we could come closer to afford what we needed, or I should say wanted, as far as space, than what we could do in Milwaukee. And the process itself, I mean, we got incredibly lucky on so many different levels. Like, first of all, our landlord called us up one day, say, "Hey, we're not renewing your lease." So we called my mother-in-law. She said, "Come live with me, save your money." We saved money for 13 months on rent and used that as a down payment. Walked in the door of the house. They said all of the appliances are included. Like, we feel like our example, I don't like talking about it too much. I mean, I'm happy about it.
Sure.
But there's so many people out there who just the thought of thinking about buying a home makes them sick to their stomach, because it's like at this point, it's almost this isn't meant for me anymore. Like, when you say $400,000 is the average, there's so many people I know who are younger and my age who are just like, yeah, no, I'm going to rent for the rest of my life. And are there, I mean, besides what you said earlier about, like, more construction, are there any other options that younger, because the idea of like buying, like, oh, I'm gonna buy my first home for really cheap, and then I'll buy my next house, and then my next house, to get the experience and build the credit and get equity in what those things are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are a couple things you can do, and speaking to a realtor can help you, because they can help identify, for example, like houses that maybe are undervalued, houses that need some work. Putting sweat equity is a great way to find get some extra value out of a house. If you look down any street, there's usually one or two properties that maybe somebody's older and ready to move to a different community, or down south, especially a day like today. And they a lot of times the properties aren't kept up that well, and so the value isn't there, and so the price they can purchase it for is a little bit below what the neighboring houses are, and then you can put some sweat equity into it and really elevate the value relatively easily with carpeting, paint, landscaping, things like that. Without moving walls, you can increase the value quite a bit, and have a really nice place for quite a while.
If you're just joining us, Mike Ruzicka is our guest. He's the president of the Greater Milwaukee Association of Realtors, just talking about the housing market in general, and specifically in Milwaukee and the surrounding counties. Sales are down this year. Home sales through the fourth quarter down 18.6%. December home sales down 10.5%. I'm with Greg, Mike, in that if I were a younger person, and especially for kids who lived and saw their parents lose their house after the crash, not perceiving that home ownership is the ultimate goal, because at least when I was raised, your house is your retirement fund. That's a big chunk of your retirement.
It's also
fund.
the American dream,
right? But
Yeah.
I think for what those kids experienced and saw their parents dealing with, they may not want to tie themselves to that.
Yeah, there's no doubt that was a traumatic event. It was traumatic for just about everybody. I remember 2008. Nobody really knew what was going to happen, and every month it just kind of got worse and worse and worse. Like, okay, where's the bottom here?
Yeah.
And it took it took 10 years for property values to get back to where they were in 2008, and there are several other factors involved in there too. And a significant part of the downturn was that new construction went down to under 1,000 units for about 3 years after that. And back in the 90s, I kind of look at it as really being a really excellent, stable, good period for housing. In new construction, we were producing about 3,000 to 4,000 units a year of new houses. And so right after the recession, we went down to under 1,000, and we're only back to about 1,500, 1,600 right now. So we're way under 50% of where we need to be. And that's where we kind of get into the whole housing crunch. Right now, our monthly inventory is well under 6 months. We use 6 months as kind of a balanced market where buyers and sellers have the same competitive advantage. Right now, it's been a seller's market for several years, and we're down to like 1 or 2 months of inventory. And that's because we need about 6,000 to 7,000 additional units in the market just to bring us back to that equilibrium level. So if you're selling a house, it's a great time to sell because you'll get top dollar. If you're buying, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You have to kind of plan well ahead. If you want to buy in 2024, I would call a realtor today and start the planning process. Look at your income, what you expect your income to be for the year, what you can spend, and really, a good realtor will say, okay, here's your hard line. We're not going to go above this, because you don't want to spend more than 30% of your joint income on housing, because, like I said, then it's like squeezing a balloon. Then you're starting to lose it somewhere else.
Yes.
So it's really important to start now in the purchase process.
Well, and I find it interesting also that it sounds, because at one point in time, Mike, it was like everything had to be move-in ready or nobody was going to buy it. Yeah, it was a seller's market, but it's got to be perfect and nobody wants to do any work. And so that seems to be changing a little bit, which is good for someone like me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely true.
I can't stress enough for the listeners what Mike just said, as far as if you want to start looking for a house before you even, we all like to go on Zillow, we like to go on Redfin and all those things. That's fun. But if you are serious about buying a house, the first thing you need to do is sit down with a realtor or sit down with your bank and say, what do I need? Because my wife and I, we started looking and we wanted to put offers in, and they're like, yeah, great. Where's your paperwork? I'm like, what paperwork? What are you talking about? So you got to have all your ducks in a row before you could even really start looking. And that includes a lot of paperwork.
Mike Ruzicka is the president of the Greater Milwaukee Associations of Realtors. Thank you so very much for joining us, Mike. It's really been a pleasure. We would love to have you back on, and hopefully we'll have some good housing news.
Yeah, anytime. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Stay close. You're listening to Matenaer On Air. We're coming to you across the Civic Media Radio Network.
Listening to the Shaw, WAUK.
Less calories and fat, and oh so delicious. It's what every light bread wants to be. Leave it to the bakers of Village Hearth to have the perfect recipes that pack goodness and flavor into every package while still keeping it trim. With Village Hearth light bread and buns, you can lighten up on the calories and fat without losing out on the great taste. There's simply more to savor and nothing to sacrifice. With our light wheat, light 12 grain, and light Italian bread and buns, there's a light, tasty favorite for everyone in the family. Village Hearth, baking our best for you.
I'm Dr. Jasmine Zapata, Chief Medical Officer for Community Health at the Wisconsin Department of Health Services. Every year in the U.S., about 21,000 lung cancer deaths are caused by radon, an odorless, tasteless, and colorless gas. 1 in 10 Wisconsin homes has high levels of radon. Does yours? Call 1-888-LOW-RADON or visit lowradon.org to learn more. Test, fix, save a life.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
The Shaw.
More words from men.
Good morning. Welcome to Matenaer On Air. Thank you so very much for joining us and for listening in Wisconsin Rapids on WFHR and in Hayward, the Buzz of the North, WBZH.
Jane, what was that very burly, very handsome, dare I say, sexy voiced man doing?
Wasn't that you?
Next question. Is it time for another installment of More Words from Men?
It is.
Oh.
It is time for another installment.
Our almost nominated segment, and because it was never nominated, it's always almost nominated.
There's that.
Dedicated to the fine words of men talking about women in various situations. Today, Jane, what do we got?
Our man is none other than the former number 4, former Green Bay Packer quarterback, Brett Favre.
Ah, the picture king.
The Croc King.
The Croc King.
The Croc King. I'm still trying to scrub that from my brain. Legendary quarterback Brett Favre thinks Kansas City Chiefs will turn on Taylor Swift if their beloved team does not make it into the Super Bowl. TMZ asked Favre, 54, if he thinks the pop superstar is a distraction for the tight end. And Favre said, I think it'll be a distraction if they don't make it to the Super Bowl. If they don't win it or get to the Super Bowl, people are going to say she is why.
And I think this shows exactly why Brett Favre doesn't have a full-time job on any network watching football for a living. This man, what are you talking? Like, will they talk about it? Yes, for a moment.
Well, and of course, this always happens.
Yeah.
This happens with every star athlete.
Yeah.
And if they get a high-profile girlfriend, and then she always takes the blame then for their athletic performance going forward.
But I don't think it's going to be such a thing that if they don't go to the Super Bowl, let's just say this. If the Chiefs do not go to the Super Bowl, the fans that do blame her will be a small amount, and they will be crazy. Because at this point, not that we're used to it, but she goes to the games. Sometimes she doesn't go to the games. They seem to be enjoying each other. That's about it. And any level-headed human being out there should know that her being in the stands does not, because the Chiefs have lost when she was there.
Yep.
They've lost when she was there.
Yes.
So therefore, why are we asking Brett Favre anything? Why is he commenting on anything?
Because he was a superstar. His opinion is still valid.
I don't know.
He did say that he thinks the Chiefs do have a shot. Quote, until someone proves me otherwise, I think they'll go all the way, unquote. Although he did point out that the Ravens are also playing outstanding ball.
I mean, his old team from, 2 teams back is doing pretty good too. I know a lot of people who 2-3 weeks into the season, they were like, I'm not going to watch the Packers. They're
it's not worth it.
They're too young. They're terrible.
It.
Blah, 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 blah. Now I got friends of mine who are like rescheduling things because they're like, I want to watch the Packer game tonight. I'm like, oh, now you care because they win. Would you have been a big fan in the 80s then?
70s and 80s.
Yeah.
Long, painful couple decades there when all we did was lose.
Oh, we lost spectacularly. Like in a way that movies should be written.
It was painful.
Yeah.
It was painful. The one criticism I did see come out recently about Taylor Swift and the NFL, and I think there's some validity to this. She gets all the attention no matter where she goes, and she was in Green Bay not too long ago. Simone Biles is a superstar in her own right. Granted, Simone Biles is a gymnast. She's not a pop star, and she's probably not worth $1.5 billion, which is what Taylor 1.1 billion dollars for Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
But Simone Biles doesn't get nearly the TV time.
No.
And I don't understand why.
Really?
No.
Really?
She's a superstar athlete in her own right.
But that's the thing, is that we're not talking about superstar athletes in comparison. We're talking about a pop star versus a woman who who does an athletic practice that isn't the WNBA or equivalent to football or basketball or baseball. She's a gymnast. I am not in any way, shape, or form saying she's not talented. She's not worthy of a praise or any of the words she's gotten. But I think that's a pretty difficult comparison to make. If we were saying, oh, Taylor Swift was the winningest swimmer ever and Simone Biles, there's a conversation. But to me, of course, there's no competition, or there's no comparison, because it's Taylor Swift versus anybody. They're pretty much going to lose, with the exception of Beyonce.
Well, yes, and I think someone pointed that out too. Calvin, what do you want to say?
I was going to say another factor is Simone Biles' husband is kind of just some guy. He's just another player. Travis Kelce was kind of one of the faces of the league even before he started dating Taylor Swift. So there is a bit of a stars colliding aspect of it between him and Taylor.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and there are other, I'm sure there's other people out there who can make other socio-political reasons why, but I'm not going to get into that right now. But I think at the end of the day, you're talking about a giant pop star versus a gymnast, and both stellarly more talented than I am.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But I mean, I just looked up Simone Biles' worth, and if those websites are anywhere near accurate, she's doing fine.
She's
too.
doing fine. Yeah, I'm sure she's okay. I'm sure
Yeah.
she's okay. All right, we have the news coming up next. When we return, what will you put on your significant other's Green Bay Sports Bingo card? What reactions do you think you will see over the course of this coming Saturday night's game?
Yeah.
As the game is going on.
Oh, it's on Saturday night?
It's on Saturday night.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. So there's going to be
God.
folks who have probably weddings to go to,
Comedy shows.
other things already scheduled. So, yep, Packers playing Saturday night. But this all came from a woman whose husband is a Dallas Cowboys fan who made up a bingo card for all of his reactions over the course of the game, including no, or throw it.
Is there a hearty smack on the forehead?
There is a covering face with hands.
Yep. Oh, I've been there.
I think a hearty smack on the forehead is a good one.
As a Brewers fan, I know hearty smack on the forehead and face and hands very, very well. You take your hat off, you smush it over your face. You're like,
oh, that's another one.
We were leading this whole thing like 38 seconds ago. How did we give up a grand slam? How do we give up 2 grand slams? I'm sorry, folks. I'm triggered all of a sudden.
Smushing of the hats. That's another one. All right, we're going to take what goes on your significant other's Green Bay Packers bingo card in advance of this Saturday's game. 844-967-2789. Stay close. You're listening to Matenaer On Air on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Keeping Southeast Wisconsin informed, engaged, and entertained. This is The Shaw, 540 AM and 101.1 FM, WAUK.
Civic Media News, I'm Terry Bell. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. Former basketball star Dwayne Wade is donating $3 million to Marquette University. Wade's gift will grow the school's summer reading program for Milwaukee children, establish a scholarship program for low-income students, and expand the university's athletic and human performance facilities. A new study recommends Wisconsin put a formula for determining alimony on the books. Shay Dreffs is with Custody Exchange, the firm that did the study.
Having bad alimony arrangements can have impact on each of the ex-spouses, on their children, and it can have ripple effects.
The study says about 2/3 of states have no guidelines for alimony negotiations. I'm Terry Bell, and this is Civic Media News. Now, here's what you need to know closer to home.
For WAUK News, I'm Stuart J. Waddles. 3 deaths in Milwaukee are being blamed on the cold weather. That's according to the county's medical examiner. 1 man passed away on Friday, another Saturday, and the 3rd yesterday. The temperatures during these days dropped to the single digits or even lower. It's suspected that at least one of the men who died was homeless. The medical examiner's office has indicated that they suspect all 3 men died of hypothermia. The season for swimming is far away, but Milwaukee County Parks officials are trying to get ahead of the issue. After lifeguard shortages in the past, there's a new offer of perks and incentives for those wanting to be a lifeguard. People signing up in the next few months will be entered into a drawing for $100 worth of county parks merchandise and gift cards. Last year, lifeguard pay was at about $16.50 an hour. And that's what you need to know. I'm Stuart J. Waddles, WAUK News.
Gingras, Thompson, and Walk salutes the work of Martin Luther King Jr. as we celebrate his accomplishments in civil rights, his leadership in fighting injustice through peaceful protests, the March on Washington, the Montgomery bus boycott, the Civil Rights and Voting Rights Acts, and more. MLK led the way for millions to work towards achieving equality. This week, join Gingras, Thompson, and Walks in recognizing Dr. King's accomplishments and contributions with Civic Media.
The Packers get ready for the 49ers. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Green Bay taking on the 49ers Saturday night in the divisional playoffs at Levi's Stadium, but concerned outside linebacker Kingsley J.J. Enagbare suffered a torn ACL in his right knee late in the fourth quarter in Dallas. Matt LaFleur says it's a huge loss.
I'll tell you what, man, I can't say enough great things about him, and I just love his play style.
College basketball, the Marquette Golden Eagles got a much-needed win over Villanova, 87-74. Before the game, former Marquette and NBA star Dwayne Wade spoke to the team and then donated $3 million to improve the basketball facility and fund scholarships and reading programs.
If you've ever had a conversation with a parent that kid has been impacted by something you've done, it's no greater feeling. My sister and I, my family and I have always been about understanding that even in the moments in life where we haven't had a lot, we've still been blessed enough to have something.
That's Dwayne Wade with sports. I'm Mike Clemens.
I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlot. The brutal cold continues to blast us with blustery winds whipping up to 25 miles per hour, dragging our wind chill values to near negative 25. As highs today struggle to get above zero, we do get to see more sunshine today. Just stay warm. A wind chill advisory remains in effect until tomorrow morning. Right now, it's 7 below.
Be a part of the resistance. Check out the Paul Revere Show with Mark Thompson, Monday nights at 7 on The Shaw, 540 AM and 101.1 FM WAUK, and on the Civic Media app.
You are never far away from your favorite radio station. We're always streaming on TuneIn and the Civic Media app. And if you missed your favorite show or game, listen to a podcast of it anytime on the app or our website, civicmedia.us.
Your home of the Earl Ingram Show, weekday mornings.
Good morning. Welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer, Greg Bach, Kevin Butenhoff coming to you live from our studio in beautiful downtown Waukesha. You can always join us. Call or text at 844-967-2789, 844-96
Party.
Or leave a message on the live stream if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, and or Twitter. A little housekeeping. We were just talking about Simone Biles not getting as much TV time as Taylor Swift and why that might be when they're at games.
Yeah.
And we had a comment from Scott McClellan, who is watching on the live stream. Simone has a more niche celebrity status. People who follow gymnasts versus Taylor Swift, who's known internationally, whether or not you enjoy her music. And that's certainly a very valid point.
But let me tell you something. Don't sleep on Simone Biles.
Oh, she's amazing.
She's amazing. She's talented. And she seems like one of the nicest people. When her husband got picked by Green Bay, she was like, I'm all in. I'm a Green Bay gal. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be hanging out, having fun, talking to fans, smiling, being just a great
cheerleader.
Great energy to the team and to the fans. And she goes down to the field, shakes hands, takes pictures. I adore her.
Yeah, she's terrific. Okay. I saw this yesterday. This came across my Twitter feed, and I think this is hilarious. A woman who is married to a Dallas Cowboys fan decided to make a bingo card of her husband's reaction as he watches Dallas play. So in the middle of her bingo card, she has the Dallas Star logo. And then some of the boxes include crosses arms, shouts, let's go, let's go, let's go. First down gesture. Why? Quiet clapping. Head hit. And more. And as she crosses them off, she films the whole thing as he's watching the game.
Yeah.
And she crosses them off one by one. And once she gets a bingo, she takes a drink.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys, she's probably been drunk most of the season.
So what is on your Packers bingo card or your significant other's Packers bingo card before this Saturday's game between the Packers and the 49ers? What are the reactions that you are going to look for as you're watching the game with your sweetie?
I mean, if you're asking me I think that, see, here's the thing is watching sports with my wife is very fun because she just wants everyone to do a good job.
Oh, that's so sweet.
She claps for both teams.
Oh, that's so sweet.
She will take sides eventually. When we went to go see a Hawks game in Atlanta last week, at the end of the game, she was all Hawks.
Oh, really?
But she's always like, good job. If you're talking to me about mine, it's going to be, there'll be a lot of come-ons. Like, come on!
Okay.
There'll be not fist pumping, but like if you're watching on the live stream, score a touchdown, like yeah, like you know, just
like a flex-ish,
like a flex, like a flex, like just, oh yeah,
okay.
And also like your garden variety. What's going on here? What's happening? You know,
she has that on here. What are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah. What are we? Oh yeah. I'll change mine too. What are we even doing right now? That's what I would say, because that's what I say when the Brewers are truly frustrating me. What are we even doing right now? Are you a minor league team that just happened to get lucky today?
Calvin, do you have any phrases?
I don't have any that would be FCC appropriate.
I see. We do prefer to keep them a little clean.
I tend to let it fly a little bit when I'm getting frustrated at sports. I will say I have a more visceral reaction to Bucks games than I do Packers games. The Bucks frustrate me much more than the Packers tend to do.
Interesting.
The thing is, I almost said to myself, you know what? I don't think I've ever heard Calvin get upset. But then I do remember sometimes there are callers who call, and Calvin does, because Calvin can't be heard in the booth and his microphone is off. I hear what he's truly thinking, and wow, I would love to go to a Bucks game or just watch Calvin, like listen to him mic'd up.
We're taking your calls on what is on your or your spouse's significant other's Packers bingo card. Inspired by this woman from Dallas, whose husband is a Dallas fan. She makes an entire bingo card of all of his reactions as the game goes on, including head down, eyes closed, knee slapping, drop to knees.
Oh, dramatic.
And goes for a walk down the hallway.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. I can. There's been plenty of Brewers games I've watched, if I'm watching it at home, where you just have to get up and do something. Like, I can't watch this show.
I have to get away from it. It's too painful.
Was there anything on there of like, you know, they score a goal, they score a touchdown? Are they going to be like, yes, or those are my boys, or Cowboy Nation, or I don't know.
She's got fist clap, flexes.
That's right. Like, oh, right there.
Hands out. Confused. What again? It goes back to the what are we doing?
I mean, I'm sure there's more negative than good because he's a Cowboy fans and they suck. But I mean, the point is
throwing a flag gesture.
I just imagine he has one in his pocket. He just like tucked it. He's got his own just like flag on the plane. Like, no one asked you, bro.
It's not to embarrass anyone.
Oh, just as, but
I just think we all do this to some extent.
Oh, absolutely. And here's the other question I will pose to people listening. If it's not the Packers or the Brewers or even the Bucks, what is your thing? What is the thing that you watch? Is it Formula One racing? Is it gymnastics? Is it something that's not even sports related, but when you watch it, you're in it and you're like, what's going look, Westminster Dog Show. You know, I want to know, like, that to me is way more interesting because like Packers, yeah, I get that. But I want to just like, you know, when I watch MasterChef, oh, I get fired up.
Crazy.
Yeah, I get that baking show from England. Oh, they make me so mad.
I love the Great British.
What?
Baking
Okay,
Show.
so what would be on your card?
That's impossible. What, are you new at this?
Oh man, that's
another one from this woman's Dallas football bingo card for her husband. Goes in bedroom and lies down.
Yeah, that's. I've never had. Oh, anytime the Brewers are breaking my heart, I'm always live. I'm always there, so I can't go lay down anywhere.
You can't escape it.
No, I've been there for some pretty. I've been there for some pretty awful moments, just giving up run after run. But yeah, I get that.
I like yours. I think we need to add the crushes hat over face.
Oh yeah, you got the backwards cap, and you just like pull it down. You just crush it over your face, and you're like, oh God, what? And then you just build the anger, and you give into the hatred, and then you are part of the dark side.
Oh my goodness. 844-967-2789. 844-96
Party.
What is on your significant others or even on your Packers playoff bingo card?
Yeah.
Saturday's big game between the Packers and the 49ers. I know that's going to screw things up, as we mentioned, for some people. I'm sure there are weddings. That's always an issue. I'm sure that there are probably other kids' sporting events over the weekends that are gonna clash and collide with this.
Maybe there's a small business owner in the room who needs you to come to his place to survive. Laughing Tap. We have shows on Saturday nights.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
What's 2 shows?
There'll be 2 shows this weekend. 1 show Friday, 2 shows Saturday. Jessica Michelle Singleton, who is absolutely she's like so tiny. She's like 4 foot. I don't know. She's tiny, but she is so energetic, so much fire, and so funny.
What kind of comedy does she do?
I would say it's very observational. It can get a little rude. She swears, but nothing where I would ever be like, oh, this isn't my
That
jam.
makes me uncomfortable.
Exactly. Yeah. But she is just absolutely hilarious, and she's always the funniest person in the room. She's just full of fire and awesomeness. And you could DVR the game and watch it on Sunday.
That's an option.
When the day the Lord gave us to watch the footballs.
Is that what the day is for?
Yes, yes. It's in the Bible. I'll go look now.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, get back to me when you find it.
Yeah, I don't know. What is so for you? Is there a non-sports or non-mainstream sport that gets you riled up and crazy?
I just don't get that emotionally invested.
I mean, you were pretty upset that Ted Lasso didn't win an Emmy.
But that made me upset. Yes.
I mean, maybe you're watching the Emmys going, come on!
Well, it's like, just a depressed squeak. It's like, come on.
So womp womp.
Yeah. I had the sads.
That's fine.
But I don't. I've told this story before. I dated a guy for a while who would go lie down after the Bears lost. He would have to go lie down. It's like, honey, do you think they care about your job? Do you think that when you have a bad day at work, their quarterback has to go lay down because it was terrible?
That's how I am with like the Brewers. Like, for me personally, if we lose and I'm bummed. In about 20 to 25 minutes, I'm fine. Because
I gotta move on.
I got other things to do. If they were paying my bills, I'd be much more upset about things. But they're not, and it's a bummer. You want to see them do well, but you've got other things to accomplish in life, friends.
Calvin, does anybody else in your household get upset?
Oh, my brother might have worse issues than I do when it comes to getting angry at the game. My mom's easily excitable. She doesn't get angry, but she squeals when good things happen.
I'm sure your mother is delighted that you decided to share that.
And you said that your mom has gotten more into football too since Taylor Swift and.
Well, she's always liked the Packers, but now she watches the Chiefs and the Eagles as well.
Why the Eagles?
Because Travis Kelce's brother plays for the Eagles.
Although he just announced that I think he's gonna retire at the end of this seaon.
Wouldn't surprise me. They just
Really?
lost last night, so
Yeah, he's 36, and I think I saw that coming around one of my feeds.
You know, I just want to say I'm a 46-year-old man. It's been a good run for me. I'm just gonna retire. From what you ask?
Wouldn't that be nice if that were an option
Oh
for
my God,
for
could you
the
imagine?
average among us?
I mean, someone said to me recently, they're like, "So what are you gonna do like when you retire?" Because I mean, I'm not near retirement age, but I'm nearer to retirement age than I was even a year ago. And someone just asked me, they said, "What are you gonna do when you retire?" I'm like, "What, when I'm 80? Because that's when I get to retire."
And retirement is not something that works for everyone either.
No.
It's not. There are some people who retire and are very, very unhappy because they miss the structure and they miss the interaction and they miss, the doing.
Yeah, I mean, my mom, I think lasted all of a month of pure retirement.
Seriously.
Yeah, pure retirement of just like no job. Now she has a part-time job. She's got herself a fun companion.
And she's how old?
She's 79. She's got friends she hangs out with. So retirement is what you make of it, and it's you design it how you want it to be. And a lot of times people, the thing is you retire at 65. Some people are living for like 25, 30 years. So, I mean,
it's a lot to consider.
Exactly. So, welcome to Retirement Talk with Jane and Greg, two people who won't be retiring anytime
soon. Exactly. Yeah. All right, stay close. Coming up, we missed this, and we have some housekeeping to do. We were talking about the Emmys last night, and there are some Wisconsin ties to some of these Emmy wins, and we will share those with you when we return. You're listening to Matenaer On Air, coming to you across the Civic Media Radio Network.
You said you loved me, or were you just being kind? Or am I losing my mind? Or were you just being kind? Or am I losing my mind? Losing my mind. Losing my mind. Losing my mind. Losing my
The Shaw, WAUK.
This is me, Gene Okerlund, and I'm talking with Brett Yulberg, owner of Robert Hack Diamonds. Brett, I hear you pay cash for gold.
Not only gold, but silver, diamonds in any form like jewelry, teeth, coins, flatware.
Why should I sell you my gold?
Why not? Our store is the only store that recommends you shop around before you sell. This way you know you're getting the most money. But if Robert Hack Diamonds can't beat a competitor's offer on your scrap gold, we'll give you $20 just for letting us try.
Hey, what if I'm shy?
You? Well, at Robert Hack Diamonds, we sit with you at a table. We go through your items and make you an offer. You're not pressured, and we offer more on jewelry that we can resell.
Can I trade my gold for a new piece of jewelry?
Of course you can, and not only that, we can custom make a piece of jewelry using your gold and gems.
Hey, there you have it, folks. Sell your gold to my friends at Robert Hack Diamonds. Visit them on 76th and Layton in Greenfield. Robert Hack Diamonds, where they want you.
Good morning. Welcome to Matenaer On Air. Jane Matenaer and Greg Bach, along with Calvin Butenhoff on the board, coming to you live from our studio in downtown Waukesha. Shoot us a text. Give us a call at 844-967-2789, 844-96.
Party.
Or leave a message on the live stream if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, and or Twitter. The Primetime Emmy Awards were last night. They were supposed to air in September, but they got pushed back because of the writer's strike and the actor's strike. And we did talk about this a little bit earlier in the show, but we wanted to give a shout out to the Emmy winners with Wisconsin connections.
Heck yeah.
We got some cheese connections.
Yes.
That we want to shout out.
3 degrees of cheese.
3 degrees of cheese.
I heard
exactly.
about this. I heard about this.
We're going to work on that.
Yeah.
So the big winners last night were Succession, which took away 6 Emmys, including Best Drama. The Bear also got 6, including for Best Comedy. Beef, a Netflix comedy, won 5 Emmys in a limited or anthology series category. So where do our Wisconsin connections come in? Milwaukee native Rachel Brosnahan, who was born here but was essentially raised outside of Chicago.
Still us. Still ours.
Still ours. We'll claim her.
Yep.
She had been nominated for lead in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which is, it's pretty great. It really is. But she lost to Abbott Elementary's Quinta Brunson, who got her 2nd Emmy Award, her first for acting. Also, Judith Light, who I watched on, it was either General Hospital
or Who's the Boss
or Days of Our Lives, but she was on a soap opera long before she did Who's the Boss.
I didn't know that.
And long before that, she started with the Milwaukee Rep.
Oh!
She used to perform with the Milwaukee Rep.
That's super cool.
So she won an Emmy for Outstanding Guest Actress for appearing on Peacock's Poker Face.
It's a great show.
Is that with Natasha Lyonne?
Yes.
And where is that streaming?
You just said it.
On Poker? Oh, on Peacock.
There it is.
It's on Peacock. Natasha Lyonne's really very talented.
Oh my gosh, yes. That show and Russian Doll that came out on Netflix.
Russian Doll was great.
Yep. Yeah.
Russian Doll was mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Lighting designer Noah Mitz, who is a Milwaukee native, went to Nicolet High School, got his 2nd Emmy of the part of a team that won for outstanding lighting design and direction for Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, so fancy.
He got his first Emmy in 2022, nominated for 4 in 2 categories this year. He has been nominated 27 times over the course of his career.
Okay.
And then nonfiction and reality producer Chris Smith studied filmmaking at UW Milwaukee, broke through with that documentary he made a number of years ago called American Movie.
Mm-hmm.
He won his first primetime Emmy for outstanding cinematography for the docuseries 100 Foot Wave. And I have been watching that. I believe it's on Netflix. I might have gotten that wrong. But following this surfer in particular, and they're looking for the biggest wave in the world to surf. And the visuals are astonishing.
Yeah.
Seriously. And you can't really appreciate how big these waves are until you get that little teeny tiny person on a little teeny tiny surfboard.
Itty
bitty at the bottom of that wave.
Yeah.
To appreciate just how dangerous that is.
Oh,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
And then texture listening here on WAUK from the 262. The executive producer from the first season of The Bear is from Pewaukee.
Name is Nate Matson.
Nate Matson.
Nate Matson. Well, congratulations.
Absolutely.
To all those who won, who had connections to Wisconsin, to all those who won, period, because you are the truly talented. I am nothing compared to you. Nothing compares to you.
Thank you, Sinead.
Thank you, Prince. I know she didn't win, and I don't think she was, but she may have been at the Emmys. But the newest connection to Wisconsin is the lead on the TV show Echo.
That's right.
Yeah. Her name is Alakwa Cox, and she's part of the Menominee tribe.
Yep.
And she's from right here in Wisconsin. And like I said before earlier in the show, I thought Echo was very fun, very action packed. The fight scenes are great.
And it's not something that you have to watch a prequel of.
No, you don't have to. I will say this. If you watch the show Hawkeye, which I thought was fun as well, you'll get everything you need because there are some mentions to that TV show where she originated in. But they do a pretty good job in the first 25 minutes of the first episode wrapping all that up.
Okay.
But yeah, if you and the fight scenes are great, and at the end of the series, they even thank the nation that they worked with to make sure that, because it's based in Native American culture, they got so like paying very close respect to it and making sure it was very well accurate. Yeah, so it's a good show. I enjoyed it a lot.
Luke and I did talk about that when he was here filling in for a couple of days. He did mention that there is a fair amount of violence. So if you have very small children,
yes.
if you have very small kids, you may want to pre-watch that and just decide for yourself if your kids are ready for that.
And every episode has a thing on there that says this is for mature audiences.
Oh, it does.
So yeah, this is not, you're not watching a Spider-Man movie. This is
It's a little more. It's going to be more intense. Than
real
that.
life gritty violence.
Okay. Thank you so very much for joining us today. We really appreciate.
You're welcome. I
calling
had nothing else to do today,
and
so
texting and listening. We now have an email address.
What?
Yes, we have an email address. If you want to reach out, you have a suggestion for a guest you would like to hear on the show.
Yeah.
Any other suggestions? Anything in your local community that you would like us to highlight?
Be nice about it.
Send us an email, Matenaer On Air, all one word, Matenaer On Air at civicmedia.us.
Spell the name.
Matenaer.
There you go.
Matenaer On Air. Matenaer On Air.
I can't believe it. We have an email
We have.
address.
We're
we
almost.
have a Facebook page.
We're almost completely official now. I know.
We have a Facebook page where you'll be able to watch. If you'd like the live stream, you can live stream it from the Matenaer On Air Facebook page. And soon to follow will be the other social medias. But we do have a Facebook page. Go like that page. Go check it out. We'll be putting stuff on there like pictures and polls and things like that.
Absolutely.
We have some fun. Be nice as always. Don't be a jerk about things because then we'll just block you because we do that sort of stuff because I'm petty.
Well, no. If all you have is insults, then you have no argument. That is my ultimate. That is my ultimate.
I love that.
Sorry.
I love that.
Stay close. The news is next, followed by the Todd Albaugh Show. You're going to love it. I hope you find some joy today and you have the chance to share it. You're listening to the Civic Media Radio Network. Have a good day.